le jeu. Ouais, pas de sous-titres. On va relancer, on va voir. C'était bien parti. Sans les sous-titres, j'ai mis oui. Ouais, les sous-titres sont sur oui. Hein. On va voir, on va retenter. Si je mets non.
The Raven's heir. Soon as one of them's caught, another one takes his place. Hey, Harold, have you read this? Harold? 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 You hear me? This is no time for fun and games.
Shh! Calm down. I'm a copper. We're on the same side.
A copper? What are you doing here? And where's Harold?
Harold? Well, there's another guard back there unconscious. That's probably him. The Eye of the Sphinx. Where is it?
It's there.
Oh, good. Then he hasn't got it yet.
You mean the Raven's heir?
Shh! Turn it off. He's gonna steal the eye.
C'est lui, donc coup.
How do you know?
Doesn't matter.
Comme Arsène
All
Lupin,
that
quoi.
matters is that we catch him. Do you understand?
Yeah, but
Do you understand? You and me, mate. We'll be heroes. All right, now, we just have to...
what?
Ah non. J'ai cru que c'était lui qui faisait une blague.
Halt! Stop! You're under arrest!
Ça fait très série policière. Très série policière. J'aime bien. En fait, il faut mettre non pour les sous-titres et vous avez les sous-titres. C'est bizarre. Hein. Vous voulez les sous-titres, vous mettez oui, il n'y en a pas. Si vous mettez non, bah il y a les sous-titres qui y sont. C'est bizarre. Zouzou, comment tu vas? Ça va, nickel, merci. Le jeu, c'est The Raven. Et c'est le remastered. Il est sur le PlayStation Plus, hein, si tu veux, il est gratuit. pour l'instant. Je connaissais pas, donc c'est un remastered d'un ancien jeu. Donc ça a l'air un petit peu d'aventure, enquête et tout ça, réflexion, donc plutôt sympa.
I don't have time to play. I'm on duty.
You're funny, but you don't look like a real cop. You don't even have a revolver.
Ah, je dois faire des choix. Il ferait bien de passer. Qui est-il? Pistolet d'enfant.
Why do you need the gun?
It's the Raven. He was gunned down, so now I need a pistol.
Dead birds don't need guns, nor do live ones.
You don't know who the Raven is, do you? He's the greatest burglar ever. He stole paintings from the Louvre, and those priceless eggs with gold and diamonds and stuff. And Bobby Dobbs says he replaced the crown jewels with rhinestones.
I know who the Raven was, although I don't quite buy that bit about the crown jewels.
T'as plus le temps de jouer en ce moment. Ah d'accord, tu travailles, t'as repris le boulot, c'est pour ça. Ça marche, pas de soucis. Bah, d'après ce que je vois, on choisit des choix, après je sais pas si ça a vraiment des conséquences. Je découvre le jeu en même temps que toi. Et pas décrit nulle part comme quoi c'est un jeu à choix, mais je vois qu'il y a des choix à faire, quoi.
You do know these days there are thieves far more dangerous than your old Raven. 2 days ago, a precious ruby was stolen from the British Museum. There was an explosion. A guard was severely injured.
Really?
Yeah.
C'est vrai, je suis d'accord avec toi.
And do you know what the papers say?
You talk too much, Constable.
Zellner, monsieur. Anton Jakob Zellner.
Or did he pull a gun on you?
No, monsieur.
Get a move on.
Inspector Legrand, it's a great honor to work with a celebrity like you.
We appreciate the support of the Swiss police, but it'd be better if you'd remain seated and keep an eye on things.
But, monsieur, surely I can be of assistance, somehow. I saw a safe being loaded.
We have everything under control. If you'll excuse me, I'll be in the first freight car at the back of the train for the rest of the trip.
I'm not here to enjoy the beautiful scenery. I am a good observer, and I have finally honed powers of deduction.
Thanks to that?
I watched the people on the platform in Zurich. I know, for example, that man over there is a violinist.
That would be more impressive if there weren't a violin case next to him.
And I believe that the gentleman in the next carriage is a German doctor on his way to Italy to take up a new position.
And what gives you that idea?
There's the rod of Asclepius engraved on his cufflink. And he's carrying a German-Italian dictionary.
Maybe he's just taking a holiday in Italy, following in Goethe's footsteps.
Too much luggage. And no, he's not retiring to Italy either. The suitcases are too shabby for me to believe that he can afford to retire in his late 50s.
All right then, Constable
Zellner.
Constable Zellner. If you're such a clever fellow, what am I doing on this train?
I think you're looking for someone.
You're just guessing. If I were looking for someone, I wouldn't spend the trip cooped up in a freight car, now would I?
Well, that would seem to indicate that you're guarding something.
And what might it be?
I really couldn't say. But it must be very important.
Why is that?
Because you are very important. They wouldn't have assigned the case to you if it were just a trifle.
Let's assume that we really are transporting something very important on this train. And let's assume that it really is my job to see that it arrives safely. Then why isn't the train crawling with police?
You don't want to arouse attention.
Évident. But why not?
Plus d'hommes ne servira à rien.
There are enough police on this train as it is. If there were more, they'd only get in each other's way.
I can assure you that I'd pack every seat in every carriage of this train with police, if it were a matter of deterrence.
You're saying you don't want to scare off potential thieves? Ah, you're laying a trap.
Ouais, le
That would
problème, c'est
explain why it's just me, and not the army, n'est-ce pas? All the same, I can't comment on your speculation. Your deductive powers leave much to be desired. I think we'll get along fine without you.
You won't.
Won't? Pardonnez-moi.
I can help, and I will help. You're in my country, and I've been ordered to assist you. And that's exactly what I'll do, whether you like it or not.
Not so bright, but stubborn. Your commitment speaks volumes, Zellner. But this is my show, and I don't need you. Bon voyage.
But how do you know?
Je sais pas à quoi ils servent vraiment les choix, mais j'ai l'impression que même si je me trompe, automatiquement il va dire après la dernière qui reste.
You
Quoi, si c'est
cheated.
la
I did
réponse ou
what?
pas.
I saw you talking to the German doctor on the
C'est pas
platform.
vraiment un jeu à choix.
He
Je
told
crois
you
pas.
everything
Il te
himself.
laisse
You were
l'opportunité
just
de
pretending to put two and two together.
répondre, mais
what of
même
it?
si tu te
Do you
trompes,
know who
t'arrives
that
à
is? That's Inspector Nicholas
la
Legrand.
réponse finale. Quoi.
You have to impress him if you want to work with him.
I'm going to tell on you.
You'd really tell on me? To the very policeman who shot your dear Raven?
Whoa, it was him?
Mm-hmm. Hunted and killed Europe's most famous burglar. That's how he got his start.
I won't tell him a thing.
I wouldn't either. What's your name again?
Matthew Miller from Dillsburg, Pennsylvania.
All right, Matthew Miller from Dillsburg, Pennsylvania. I have to do my work now.
Everyone calls me Matt, well, except for my mom. She calls me Maddie, as if I were a little kid.
Je vais faire un genre de Sherlock
Whether
Holmes.
Legrand wants my help or not, I'll keep my eyes open. Maybe I can change his mind.
Voulez-vous des explications sur les commandes du jeu? Les amis, le papier, le sandwich.
This morning I thought I wouldn't be hungry because of all the excitement. Thankfully, I brought a sandwich with me anyway.
Prendre le papier. Ok. Pour ouvrir l'inventaire qui contient tous les objets transportés par un sectionner le papier sandwich avec ce qui est de gauche. Les sont pas affichés dans le coin supérieur à gauche de l'écran. Ouvrez l'inventaire, sectionnez le papier sandwich, appuyez sur rond pour l'examiner.
I wrapped the apple core in the sandwich paper. That way I can carry it without making a mess of my trouser pocket. Still, I'd prefer not to have to carry them all day.
Bien sûr, vous pouvez aussi utiliser les objets entre eux dans l'inventaire. Sectionnez la serviette en papier avec X, puis sectionnez le papier des sandwichs dans l'inventaire avec X.
The napkin came with the croissant I bought at the train station. A guilty pleasure. I don't need that either.
Débarrassons-nous. Jetez les détritus de votre inventaire dans le cendrier sur la table.
Every table has its own waste basket. Practical. No need to ever leave your seat. Every table has its own waste basket. Practical. No need to ever leave your seat.
Je veux bien regarder la poubelle, mais je sais pas, ça veut pas. Ouais, j'appuie sur X. Mais...
Every table has its own.
Ah, d'accord. Faut aller aller dans Objet et refaire.
All right.
Ok. Voyons voir ce que ça donne. Plusieurs fois. Ah ouais.
We Swiss are crazy about trains. We don't just have a lot of railroads. We have the most beautiful ones in the world.
Ouvre les fenêtres. Lui, il a froid.
Would you be so kind as to close the window? I don't want to sit in the draft.
Oh, pardon me.
Je peux casser la fenêtre?
We Swiss are crazy about.
Ah.
We don't just.
Il y a une photo sur la table.
The Vicarage in the Mirror, a detective novel by my favorite author, Lady Clarissa Westmacott. For years now, I've been trying to convince my theater group to stage one of her plays.
Il parle beaucoup sur un truc d'objet, je trouve.
The violinist is a good-looking fellow, and he's traveling through the most beautiful mountain landscape in the world. But one can only hope that his violin is better tuned than he. The violinist is a good-looking... One can...
Oh là, il y a des coupures dans les mains.
Hello, sir.
Hello.
Qui est-il? Où se rend-il? Dire au revoir.
Are you traveling to Istanbul non-stop?
No. I'll transfer in Venice to a ship. I'm on my way to Cairo.
Cairo?
I'm performing at the reception in the Egyptian Museum there.
I'm sure your recital will be a great success. But tell me, did you notice anything unusual on the train?
Anything unusual?
Persons acting suspiciously, for instance.
For heaven's sake, is there cause for concern?
Everything is in order, sir. We Swiss are just very cautious people.
I understand. No, I didn't notice anything.
Have a good trip.
Thank you.
Là, il y a une carte.
The large map shows the different routes of the Orient Express. This train began in Paris and ends in Istanbul as usual. Unfortunately, it will make most of its journey without me. This is the first car. The coal tender should be directly beyond this door, and in front of it, the engine.
Ok.
Very kind of you. Thanks.
Qu'est-ce qui s'est passé?
Pardon me.
Pourquoi il a fait une falle comme ça?
No problem. The uniform is waterproof. Mr.
Lucio. Professor Edgar Lucio.
Oh, a professor. Are you a scientist? Do you teach at the Sorbonne?
No, I work at the British Museum in London.
You don't say. May I ask where you are going?
Of course. To Venice. I'm going to meet some colleagues.
Tout
there.
ça, Venise?
Oh, Venice. A beautiful city, so I'm told.
Indeed. But I really have to take my leave now.
Just one more thing. Did you notice anything unusual on the train?
Here? On the train? No. I can't say that I have. Although I did spend most of the time in my compartment.
If you work in the British Museum, then you must have experienced the burglary firsthand.
No, I wouldn't say that.
Oh, no?
There was a lot of commotion, but I didn't really pay much attention to it.
There was a break-in in your museum, and it didn't concern you?
Well, let's just say that nothing that's happened in the last 2,000 years concerns me.
Whatever you say. The famous Inspector Legrand is on this train. I imagine you know him.
No, should I?
You don't know him? And you also don't know what he's doing here?
No. Well, why should I?
Just a thought. You're a representative of the British Museum. There's a guarded safe on the train.
I'm sorry. I don't know what you're trying to imply. And now, please excuse me.
I don't want to take up any more of your valuable time, but you do understand, don't you, that what concerns me is the present, and especially the robbery at the museum.
Yeah, of course, of course. It's just, I'm in rather a hurry.
You'll get in touch if you notice anything unusual, won't you, Professor?
Of course, Constable. What's this?
What's the matter, sir?
The door. I can't open it.
Ah, We'll sort it out somehow. The compartment is locked.
But I didn't lock it. I don't even have a key. I asked the steward. He was going to bring me one, but he never came back.
Someone locked it.
Find the steward. He needs to bring me the key immediately.
Calm down, Professor. I'll see what I can do.
You don't understand. I have to get back in my compartment.
All right, just wait here.
Bah, il a le temps de se refaire un autre café, quoi.
Perhaps a thoughtful conductor noticed that Professor Lucien wasn't in his compartment and locked it.
C'est un peu bizarre, quoi. Le comportement qu'il a.
You can easily lock the compartment door from inside by turning a little knob.
But I didn't lock it.
Professor, if you had locked the door from in there, you wouldn't be out here.
Bah oui,
That's true.
The little label on the door reads Baroness von Trebitz. Blue blood on the Orient Express. I don't believe it. I never thought I'd ever meet you.
Pardon me, but we'd prefer...
It's all right, Miss Miller. I'd like to speak to the inspector.
Unfortunately, just a constable, Lady Westmacott. I'm reading The Vicarage in the Mirror right now, for the 5th time at least.
That's nice, Constable...
Zellner. Anton Jakob Zellner.
This is my companion, Miss Miller.
A pleasure. As a writer, you must be very observant, am I right? I mean, you have to study the behavior of people around you to create the characters in your novels, don't you?
I solved the mystery of human nature a long time ago, Mr. Zellner. Since then, most people just bore me.
Really? I had the impression you were eyeing me suspiciously as I came in.
What do you want to know, Constable?
What are you doing here, if I may ask? Are you on holiday?
Holiday? Yes, so to speak. The first and last holiday of my life.
Madam?
I've been writing since I was a little girl. It became my job, and now I've stopped. So, this must be a holiday.
You quit writing? Impossible. I have all of your books. Your Detective Partout is my favorite character.
Then I have bad news for you. I killed the old wretch off years ago.
I don't understand.
I'd rather not discuss my work, Constable.
Oh, well, fine. About the other passengers, did you notice the blonde man with the violin case?
I certainly did. He introduced himself and tried to make a good impression. People like him are drawn to wealth and fame, like moths to a flame.
But his charms failed on you.
I know him by name. David Kreutzer. He was a drain on my friend's purse.
Do you think he has a money problem?
People like him always have a money problem. No matter how much you give them, they always spend twice as much and complain that they have far too little.
Did you notice the man who just walked into the next carriage with a cup of tea?
I did. He seemed nervous. He was waiting at the bar for the steward, and since the steward never appeared, he elected to help himself. He took 2 biscuits.
He seems pretty young, but he's already a professor at the British Museum.
Interesting. I'll have to talk to him later. Just out of courtesy, of course.
Of course. Are you traveling to Istanbul non-stop?
No. We are on our way to Venice.
Tous à Venise.
From there, we will take a ship to Cairo. As you may know, I have a penchant for archaeology. I fund a few excavations in Egypt. I traveled to Egypt by ship as a young woman. And now I'm doing it again as an old woman.
I see.
Alors, le son du jeu est fort par rapport à ta voix. Ah, on va baisser le son du jeu. Tu me dis si c'est bon là. Est-ce que c'est bon? Alors, autre voyageur.
Coming back to the other passengers again, did you notice anyone else? What about the doctor?
I notice that you've asked me about everyone, except for the inspector who went in the direction of the freight car a few minutes ago. Isn't that the Frenchman who made his name when he caught the Raven?
I wouldn't quite say caught.
Well, shot. Why don't you ask me about him and my theory about what he's doing here?
I don't think we should discuss Inspector Legrand's investigation in public.
Legrand, right. That was his name. Will he save the day again? Or will you, Constable?
As much as I'd like to keep talking, duty calls.
You were right.
Madam?
I did observe you as you came in. You seemed so... eager.
It's been a long time since I've had a chance to prove myself, madam.
And this is it? Your chance?
I do hope so.
Then grab it. Even small people can make big changes, as my friend Ronald likes to say.
I shall do my best.
Ok, bon déjà ils vont tous à Venise, c'est un peu bizarre.
The steward must have forgotten the toothpicks. Normally he would offer them discreetly after dinner. The steward must have normally...
Ok, donc ça je peux les embarquer des cure-dents.
Mrs. Miller made a good impression. She wanted to protect Lady Westmacott from me, a pushy admirer. Very diligent. But she does seem a little nervous and tense. I imagine she has her work cut out for her with Matt. And a difficult boss, from what they say. An extraordinary woman. Talented, intellectual, extremely rich, and the most successful writer of all time. Yet, they say she can be difficult on occasion, and that she's rather unhappy.
Ok. On va continuer.
Butterscotch. I've loved them since I was a child. Their only drawback, they don't play nice with false teeth.
Prendre des bonbons.
Butterscotch. Their own.
Examiner les caramels. Je vais décacher. Caramel.
I won't eat any just now. It would be rather embarrassing if I met Legrand and wasn't able to open my mouth because it's been stuck shut, or because I lost some teeth.
T'as perdu les dents. À cause du caramel.
Ah, Mr.
Zellner.
Right. How can I help you?
Alors.
Do you know where the conductor is?
I'd like to know that myself. I told him to search for my missing suitcase in Zurich. He hasn't got back to me yet. He's probably in cahoots with the thieves, and didn't bother getting back on the train. If we don't crack down on vermin like them, the rabble will rule the world one day.
Well, at the moment, we still don't know what really happened.
He is not here doing his job. That's bad enough.
Any news about the robbery in London?
Quite something, wasn't it? It must have been professionals. The way they disabled one of the best security systems in the world. Most impressive.
People were injured.
Well, one cannot execute a robbery of that scale without collateral damage. It seems like the Raven has finally found a worthy successor. We can look forward to new and spectacular coups.
I'm afraid I won't enjoy his exploits this time around if the new Raven is so reckless.
That's your prerogative.
Tell me, did you notice anything suspicious here on the train or in Zurich?
You mean, except for the fact that my suitcase was stolen on the platform? No. Is there any reason to be concerned?
No, just routine.
Constable Zellner, please don't think I'm naive. I spotted the inspector from Interpol. Legarde is his name, if I recall correctly.
Legrand.
If you say so. At the train station in Zurich, he put a cash box into the safe, and then kept close watch as it was loaded onto the train. Don't tell me that a man at his pay grade routinely tramps across the Alps just to keep an eye on cash boxes.
A cash box? Like the ones you'd find in safe deposit boxes?
Precisely. And I believe we both have a good idea just what's inside.
I do indeed have a theory, but what's yours?
A ruby was stolen in London. One of the legendary Eyes of the Sphinx. The second jewel, an emerald, is rumored to be in a Swiss bank vault, if I remember correctly. Both jewels were supposed to be exhibited together in Cairo for the first time in 50 years. It does make one wonder.
Indeed.
Ok, donc on n'a pas fini encore le
Your
journal.
newspaper caught my eye. May I borrow it for a second?
You can take the section with the article on the burglary. You're interested in that bit, aren't you?
You caught me out.
Here you go.
Dankeschön. Auf Wiedersehen, Dr. Gebhardt.
Goodbye, Constable. It was a pleasant chat, really.
Ok, ça c'est fait.
I'd better let him read his newspaper if I don't have any pressing questions.
Ok. Continue. J'espère que vous m'entendez mieux là du coup. Je vais monter en haut.
The ladder leads up to the roof. It will be suicidal to climb up there while the train is at full speed. The wind, tunnels... No, I'll stay down here.
Je sais pas, tu peux tenter pour voir.
A box with a padlock. I suppose it contains tools for the train's crew.
Pour l'expérience.
And uncoupling the cars. At any rate, it's positioned so that it's easier to reach from the ground than from up here. A box, I suppose, at any... Locked.
Bang, bang! Don't move.
Matt, have you gone mad?
I'll
Failli
shoot.
tomber.
Hey, my pistol.
You'll get it back in Venice. I could have fallen under the wheels.
I thought you were a ghost.
Ghosts don't exist.
They do too. One just flew past the window.
Yes, yes, sure. Now get moving.
Oh, man.
Je vais mourir.
I strongly suspect that the door is locked. No, it's open.
S'il fait, il y en a un qui se cache là.
Hello? Wow.
Don't move a muscle, you feathered fiend.
Put the gun down, Robert. If I may introduce Constable Robert Oliver from the yard. And this is the revered
Okay.
Constable Zellner of the Swiss police, who obviously couldn't control his curiosity.
Then I was right. You really do want to lure someone into a trap.
That's none of your business.
Perhaps that someone recently struck in London.
And how would I bait my trap then?
With an eye? An eye on its way from Zurich to Cairo?
Someone has done his homework. Well done, Constable.
L'héritier du Corbeau.
What do you know of this Raven's heir?
He tried to blow me up.
Robert, we don't know who we're dealing with yet.
In any event, the new Raven is a more dangerous man than the old one.
How do you know it's a man? It could just as easily be a woman.
Or several men.
And anyway, how do you know that it's a new Raven?
Monsieur?
Never mind.
I hope you'll acknowledge that I, as a Swiss policeman, can undertake investigations in my own country.
Are we still in Switzerland?
I could be your eyes on the train as long as you're here in the freight car.
Oh, really?
There is a certain Professor Lucien on the train. He's an archaeologist from London.
And what's his story?
Well, it seems someone locked him out of his compartment.
Locked him out?
Well, yes. The door is locked and he's standing outside without a key.
Was it locked from inside?
It may have been. Do you think the locked door could be important?
Professor Lucien plays an important role in this story. Well then, Constable Zellner, be my eyes and ears on the train and see that Professor Lucien gets back into his compartment.
Le professeur Lucien.
Report back to me when you're through.
My pleasure, monsieur. I go attend to the door now.
Good. And, Constable Zellner?
Yes?
Don't bother us unless you have something new to report.
Of course. A thief might get anxious if there's too much activity in the freight car.
Exactement. Knock twice. Then we'll know that it's you.
Understood. An investigation on behalf of Legrand that takes me one step closer. If I can convince him of my competence, I might even be able to see this case through to the end.
Dommage que c'est pas en français quoi. Ça serait plus immersé quand ça serait parlé en français quoi. Bon là du coup je fais comment? J'ai pas... Ouais, j'ai du caramel, un cure-dent.
Oh,
Tiens.
Constable?
Yes, ma'am.
My son didn't make any trouble for you, I hope. It's just that he just walked past us, silent and seething. That's usually a sign that someone's laid down the law.
I'm afraid so. He played a trick on me, a rather dangerous one. The lad left me no choice but to take away his wooden pistol as a punishment.
I understand. And thank you. Matty is a very lively child. Sometimes he needs a strong fatherly hand.
Where is Matt's father, if I may ask?
He's gone.
Ah, I understand.
Could you, leave Matty's pistol here, perhaps? So you don't have to bother with it?
Of course. I told him he wouldn't get it back until Venice.
Very well. Thank you again, Constable.
Elle va lui redonner la mère, tu sais. La mère engine quoi, tu vois. Ouais, t'as engueulé mon fils, ouais, faire semblant, nanana. Ouais, donne-moi le pistolet. Le dos tourné, elle va lui rendre. Ah la faute, la femme. Bon, du coup, toi... Bon, je pense que je peux faire quelque chose avec ce caramel. Un caramel, un cure-dent. Portefeuille décaché. Non, ça se marie pas ensemble.
Hello, Matt.
Une boude.
Oh, come on. Are you going to be angry with me for the rest of the trip?
Until I get my pistol back.
I gave it to your mother.
Oh man, couldn't you have just raked me over the coals?
Would you have learned anything from that?
I didn't learn anything from this either.
Alors, regardez l'annonce. Il s'est passé quoi là? Je peux se quitter.
A story about the upcoming Oscars and Cleopatra's chances of winning. An incredible feat. They built the largest movie set of all time in Rome. And because of the main actress's many illnesses, several changes of director and months of delays, costs shot to over $40 million. The most expensive movie ever made. A record never to be broken.
Okay.
Let's see if there's any news. Blah, 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 blah. Eye of the Sphinx. One of two priceless jewels. Extraordinary pure ruby. 2000 BC, etc., etc. old news. And here, shocking burglary. Professional thieves surprised by museum guard Charles Langley and Constable Robert Oliver of Scotland Yard. Explosion, Constable Robert Oliver from Scotland Yard. He was there when the first eye was
Il est
stolen.
bizarre,
Now
lui.
he's guarding the second one.
Je sais pas s'il est pas dans le coup depuis le début.
Luna's Drops, the calming herbal liqueur for women. A glass a day. It relaxes the nerves and maintains domestic tranquility. Luna's Drops, if you don't want to bother your husband. John Surtees won the Formula One World Championship for the first time on Saturday. He also won the World Championship in motorcycle racing from 1956 to 1960, making him the only man in motorsports to win World Championships in both motorcycle and Formula One events. Not really my cup of tea. Too loud, too fast, too much exhaust.
On y pour rien, hein. Déjà, hein. Ça, ah oui, je dirais. Bon. Peut-être lui, non? Peut-être lui parler encore?
There could be many reasons for the violinist shaking hand. Strained nerves.
Il a une
and
coupure en
illness.
dessous de sa
My
main.
money's on alcohol. It wouldn't be the first musician who ruined his
La
career
boisson.
that way.
La boisson, rien, j'ai peur du caramel. Mais je pensais que le caramel, il y a un truc à faire. Avec la...
The door is locked. I'm at a loss without a key or a proper tool.
C'est
The door. I'm at a.
Je sais pas, ça, il y a un truc avec le caramel.
The door. I'm at a.
Cure-dent? C'est avec un cure-dent que tu ouvriras la porte, hein? Je sais pas.
I won't eat any just now. It would be rather. The door. I'm at a loss with. I don't believe that. It's no use. The bolt is too short to get a good grip on it.
Trop courte. Ça faisait quoi là? Ah. Non, non, non. Sûrement.
He doesn't make a very balanced impression, and he of all people.
Ah, bah là je peux toquer.
Yes, what is it?
Whoever that is, James, ask them whether they found my purse and then closed the door. The noise on this train is driving me crazy.
J'ai le portefeuille. Mais...
You're missing a purse. Was it stolen?
At the very least, I cannot find it, sir.
It was stolen.
Je sais pas où je l'ai trouvé, mais j'ai un porte-monnaie.
When was the last time the Baroness saw her purse?
What?
In Zurich, on the platform, sir.
I just asked where you last saw your purse.
In Zurich on the platform. James, tell him that I still had it when I got out to stretch my legs.
The Baroness says...
Maybe you lost it there.
What?
The Baroness never loses anything, sir.
I never lose anything.
Kick.
Very well then. I shall be on the lookout for your purse. If I might ask you a few questions about your fellow passengers.
I thought he was looking for my purse. James, tell him to look for my purse.
The Baroness wishes that you search for her purse.
But couldn't we perhaps... All right. First, the purse. I will have a look around.
Thank you, sir.
Pas facile la madame, hein. Elle tient une tête la madame, hein. Non mais oh. Alors attends, j'ai un portefeuille.
The Baroness seems to have a special... I better not bother her until I find her.
Bah je l'ai là.
The Baroness seems... I better not... The I better not. The Baroness. I better not.
Il a acquis le portefeuille que. Il est à moi, c'est mon porte-monnaie. C'est mon portefeuille, ça. Pourquoi je peux pas le. C'est quoi 290?
I bought it last week at a flea market.
Ah!
I like it because it tells a story. I suppose the previous owner bought himself.
Bon, c'est pas son porte. On va voir si on va le retrouver ailleurs. Allez, les cure-dents. Ok. Regardez derrière le bar.
I suppose the steward won't object to me having a look around in his absence.
Oh, il y a beaucoup de choses, hein.
A shortwave radio. It's amazing how small these things have become in the last 10 years.
Ok.
Perhaps he keeps the compartment keys in there. Locked. The lock is so cheap that I could easily pick it. If I want to impress Legrand, I should probably just do it. He's famous for his unconventional methods. This is the steward, but as long as he's not a... I need a bit of wire or something like that to pick the
Un bout
lock.
de câble ou quelque chose comme ça.
The steward probably uses the scissors on how to open packages. These days, nearly everything is sealed up tight. A colleague recently told me about dry powdered soup in small bags. I couldn't believe it. The pad on which the steward writes orders, empty. Maybe he didn't use it because there's not much to do today.
Du coup, il n'y a rien d'autre.
This is the better. This is the better.
Je sais pas comment utiliser le cure-dent.
I need a bit of wire. A shortwave radio. It's amazing.
Ah, ça, je vais
I don't
prendre.
need the pad, but the pencil might come in handy.
Ok, ouais, c'est vrai qu'il a dit que plusieurs fois il faut
I'll
appuyer
leave the
dessus.
scissors here. If I need them, I know where to find them.
Ok, il veut pas prendre la paire de ciseaux. J'ai pris le crayon. Il y a rien qui va ensemble.
When I scratch the pencil's lead
Ah.
with the scissors, I get fine graphite powder. I
On va
won't
trouver un
get a
truc.
Nobel Prize for the idea, but graphite powder will bring out fingerprints at a pinch.
Alors? Quelque chose? Je peux pas... J'ai le papier. Ah! C'est de la poudre. Par quoi, on va faire une explosion avec ça? Les empreintes, les empreintes... Sur la porte de l'autre, là, non? Oh, va-t'en, toi. Oh, il y a du journal. Peut-être sur la porte. Donc là, c'est bon, je peux partir. J'ai pas trouvé son porte-monnaie. La vieille.
The bolt is too short to get. I'm at a loss without a key. The door. I'm at a. The bolt. I'm at a.
Je peux pas...
The bolt is. I'm at a.
C'est pas ça.
The door. I'm at a loss.
Ouais, va-t'en! C'est une porte là à gauche?
Did you really think that you... Matt is digging in his heels. I won't get anything out of him as long as he's angry with me.
Ok, ça a été noté, donc...
I won't get anything...
Est-ce que je dois reparler avec lui ou pas?
If I'm a trouble...
Ah, faut le reparler encore. Ah, porte-monnaie de la baronne.
A passenger is missing her purse. Perhaps you've seen it.
So, there are thieves on the train.
It's been missing for some time now. Probably since Zurich.
The Swiss don't let go of money easily, do they? Oh, pardon me. No, I haven't seen the purse.
Have a good trip.
Thank you.
Ça va être un peu facile. Lui, il est toujours enfermé là.
Professor Lucien?
Yes? Do you have the key?
Actually, I wanted to...
Please. I have to go back to my compartment.
Ok. Je reparle à la mère du petit.
Excuse me, Lady Westmacott.
Constable Zellner, how can I help you?
A passenger's purse has gone missing. I suppose you haven't seen it.
I'm sorry, Constable Zellner. As you know, I only deal with murder, not burglary.
Have you asked my boy yet? Maddie is good at finding things.
I'll go and do that now. Another time. Farewell, Lady Westmacott.
Constable?
Il veut pas me parler, son fils. Il me fait la tête.
Mrs. Miller?
Yes?
Did you notice anything unusual on the train?
Oh, I'm afraid not. I was totally focused on my work.
She's always got an awful lot to do, my Mary.
You have to tell me if that's not all right with you.
Good Lord, child. Knit as much as you want.
So, nothing out of the ordinary.
No, Constable.
Goodbye, Mrs. Miller.
Goodbye, Constable.
I think it's uncomfortable for her when I talk to her in front of Lady Westmacott. She seems to take it as an inappropriate distraction from her work, although she's just knitting. Taking up a craft like that is typical of women who were told as little girls that idleness is a sin.
C'est pas possible. On peut pas lui prendre le fusil, je sais pas. Peut-être le vieux là. On a peut-être pas vu le portefeuille.
Hello, Dr. Gebhardt.
Ah, Mr. Zellner.
I meant to ask, the Baroness is missing her purse.
A Baroness? This train is really full of the creme de la creme. The Queen of Crime is over there, and now a Baroness as well.
Have you seen the purse?
Unfortunately, no. Do you know Lady Westmacott? You were talking to her?
Well, I'm an admirer of her work.
Like so many others. I once read in the newspaper that only Shakespeare and the Bible sell more copies than her crime novels.
I read that too.
She must be filthy rich. As a doctor, I'd have to work 1,000 years to earn that kind of money.
Auf Wiedersehen, Dr. Gebhardt.
Goodbye, Constable. It was a pleasant chat, really.
I'd better let him read his...
Pas vu le portefeuille. M'étonnerait que ce soit dehors avec l'autre. L'autre, il faut qu'on le voit si on a trouvé quelque chose de plus. On va essayer de reparler avec le gosse, mais le gosse il va envoyer bouler encore. Est-ce que je peux prendre plusieurs cure-dents ou pas? Ah, je peux pas prendre d'autres cure-dents. J'ai que ça en fait, j'ai pas loin en fait.
Should I ask for an autograph? That will be quite unprofessional. But on the other hand...
Ah, ce bouquin. Je vais donner un autographe à la vieille.
Matt is digging in his heels. I won't get anything out of him.
Ah, ici, je lui donne un caramel. Tu veux un caramel, mon petit? Attends, je vais lui donner un caramel. Tu veux un caramel, mon petit? Tiens, regarde. Ah, tiens. Tu veux les bonbons? On va pâter les enfants avec les bonbons.
I have no reason to. You made trouble and got punished for it. Take it as a peace offering.
Just 4?
If I'm faster than you, there'll only be 3.
Hey!
Friends again?
Mm-hmm.
All right then. And no dangerous nonsense anymore.
Okay.
Wow, il y a plein de trucs.
Something completely different this time. The Baroness in the second compartment over there is missing her purse. Do you have any idea where it could be?
Do I ever?
Mm-hmm.
That guy over there with the violin case?
What about him?
He picked up something in Zurich and put it in his violin case.
Really?
Yeah, and he made sure that nobody saw him.
Aha!
You saw him?
Uh-huh.
Did you also see what it was?
Nah, not really. But now that I think of it, it must have been the Baroness's purse.
Est-ce que c'est
I
vrai ou
should
pas
look
aussi?
into it, shouldn't I?
I think so.
Your mother is Lady Westmacott's companion, correct?
Yeah, but it's not like you think. At first I thought, boy, you must be really wicked if you need to pay for friends. But the lady's really okay. A bit odd and really old. But other than that, she's great. She likes me.
The lady has peculiar taste.
Hey!
You and your mother, do you both live on Lady Westmacott's estate?
I'm only there for the holidays. Most of the time I'm at boarding school.
I imagine that's not very pleasant.
No, it's fine. I have friends there. You always have to be so quiet in the lady's house. And I'm not allowed to bring any friends.
Such a big house with so many places to hide and no one to play hide and seek with.
You said it.
And how long has your mother worked for the lady?
2 years.
And your father? What does he do?
He stayed home. I used to go fishing with him. And hunting. He even let me shoot a real gun.
And then?
Then Mom fought with him. And he left. I was 7.
Aye.
Oh, and how old are you now?
In 8 months, I'll be 9 years old.
And do you already know what you
Okay.
want to be when you grow up? A burglar?
No. We'll see. Maybe an actor.
Really? Well, I don't know.
2 ans de
You need
séparation.
a lot of talent for that. I'm an actor in a theater group, you know?
You are?
Oh, yes. And I'm one of the best in our group, if I may say so. I get really deep into my roles, you know? I don't just talk like the character. I think like him. I become him. It's the only way to... Matt, are you okay?
Oh là, il s'étouffe le petit!
I think you just have to be good at copying things to be an actor.
On va lui mettre un gros coup dans le ventre.
That wasn't bad. Disturbing, but not bad. Tell me, have you seen the steward anywhere?
No. He was walking around a little while ago, though.
Hopefully they didn't forget him in Zurich.
What's he supposed to do?
I'm looking for a key to open a
À
compartment
cause de mon
door.
bonbon.
Did you check his things behind the counter?
I'm
va aller
sure
de
the
travers.
doors will be locked.
Can't you break it open? Or pick the lock like the Raven?
Perhaps. But I'd need a piece of wire or something like that.
Ask my mom. She has a lot of hairpins. She doesn't like the wind messing up her hair.
Thanks for the tip. So long.
So longer.
Alors lui déjà...
The
Eh mec,
violin
t'es un voleur.
case looks pretty old. But that doesn't say anything about the quality of the violin. The best violins are often in the oldest cases. I doubt the violinist will let me have a look in his case. Excuse me, sir. About the purse.
Ah, yes? Has it been found?
Someone saw you with your violin case on the platform in Zurich.
What's the meaning of this? I didn't steal anything.
Nobody said you did. I just wanted to ask you whether you might have noticed anything on the platform.
Ah, well,
Why did you think I was accusing you?
well, I thought, because you mentioned my violin case in the context of the press.
Apropos, may I have a look at your violin? It must be a very extraordinary piece.
Oh, that's not possible. It's a genuine Granetti.
Et alors,
Very
ouais.
valuable.
Very, and also very sensitive.
What could harm it here? Light? Air?
Eh ouais.
May I ask you to open the violin case?
No, you may not. I'm not guilty of anything.
I'm afraid I have to insist.
Then I'm afraid you need a warrant. I will not stand back and let you rifle through my belongings.
Have a good trip.
Thank you.
Un coupable. Donc comment on doit se faire Qu'est-ce que j'ai? Vouloir dormir? Tiens, tu peux décacher. Décacher. Tiens, prends décacher.
Violinist is uncooperative. I'm not authorized to search his belongings against his will and without a good reason, and he knows it. I have to come up with something.
Je le mets dans l'alcool. Je lui donne un verre, tu sais, avec des cachets. On va faire ça, là, on va le droguer. Ouais, ils sont violents. Alors, je donne mon autographe. Je me permets. Voilà.
Lady Westmacott.
Yes?
I was wondering if you might...
Sign your book, Constable Zellner?
If it isn't too much of an inconvenience.
Of course it's an inconvenience, but only a small one.
Ça la dérange. Elle le dit cash, au moins elle est franche, elle le dit. Vous me dérangez. Allez hop.
You are welcome.
Thank you so very much.
On aurait pu écrire n'importe quoi ou faire un zizi dessus. Je serais content le mec. Alors, lui je voulais servir un verre. Alors. Est-ce que je peux? Est-ce qu'il y a moyen de prendre un verre? Non, je peux pas prendre le vin ou quoi? Le frigo? C'est le caramel. Ah non, je peux même pas. Hein.
I need a bit of wire or something like that to pick the lock.
Que ça qui est fermé.
I need a bit of... This is the steward's own, but as long as... I need a
Non,
bit...
je peux pas. Je pensais que je pouvais lui servir un truc. Comme il a dit, c'est par rapport à l'alcool qui tremble et tout, qu'il a froid. Je me suis dit, mais il y a de quoi. Je vais essayer de retourner pour voir là-bas, mais pas sûr que ça fait quelque chose. Ah ouais, là, avec le cure-dent, non?
The box is secured with a padlock. I won't be able to open it without a key.
Ouais, donc il faut ouvrir là-bas la porte.
Inspector Legrand?
Anything to report?
Agent Robert, oui, le porte-monnaie.
Baroness von Trebitz told me that she's missing her purse.
Baroness von Trebitz? Interesting.
Indeed, sir.
But it has nothing to do with our case.
So I shouldn't concern myself with the matter.
Why not? It's your job as a policeman. But don't expect me to be particularly interested in a lost purse.
Constable Robert Oliver. Is it possible that I read your name in the newspaper?
Could be, sir. Could very well be.
Robert was there when the first eye of the Sphinx was stolen.
Why were you in the museum? Did you spot something from outside?
Well, sir, I noticed that a door was ajar, which was suspicious, and it was my duty to investigate, sir.
Scotland Yard gave him a commendation and assigned him to me as a liaison.
A great honor, sir.
I'll get back to work now.
Good.
Ok. Pas d'avancement. Est-ce que tu veux quand même tenter... Ah non, il peut pas monter là-haut. Monter l'échelle. Ça va peut-être...
I'd better let him read his newspaper if I don't have any pressing questions.
Ok, alors donc du coup j'aimerais bien voir un petit peu ça, la peau de graphiste.
I scraped a small amount of graphite off the pencil lead. The powder is very fine, practically dust.
Ouais, mais à quoi ça me sert? C'est ça le problème, à quoi ça va me servir?
Pills for my heart.
Ah non, c'est caché pour le cœur, ouais, d'accord.
Supposed to take one if I have trouble. My daughter insisted that I take them with me. She was, but I wasn't about to.
Ok.
For brave Constable Anton Jakob Clarissa West. Who'd have thought that one day but
Ah. commence à sécher un peu.
Mrs. Miller?
Yes?
Ah. Ah, on fait quelque chose d'intéressant là. Les épingles à cheveux.
Excuse my unusual request, but Matt said you have some hairpins. Could I borrow one?
One of my hairpins?
It's a long story. It would be a big help.
Well, if you really need one.
Go ahead, Mary. The constable won't do it any harm. Will you, Mr. Zellner?
Bien sûr, je vais les abîmer. Tu crois quoi, toi? Je vais essayer d'ouvrir des serrures avec.
Is this one okay?
It'll do nicely, madam. Oh, very kind of you.
On avance.
Goodbye, Mrs. Miller.
Goodbye, constable.
C'est où? C'est là où c'est pour la porte? Crocheter la serrure.
Suddenly, it's me who's the thief on the train.
On a réussi. Allez,
That was easier than expected.
à boule les clés.
Batteries, a toothbrush, shaving brush.
Génial.
But not the key to the compartment door. Just this one. Too small for the door, but it might still be useful.
J'ai trouvé une clé. C'est ça? Ah, je sais où elle doit y être, la clé. Toujours mon épingle. On va voir là-dedans, là. Là-bas, là. C'est là.
That's it. There we go. This should help.
C'est quoi qu'il a pris? Une pince? Une pince. Une pince. Qu'est-ce que... Quoi pourrait me servir la pince? Là, je peux plus partir. Alors.
It doesn't work with this kind of lock. I need something to turn the pin.
Quelque chose pour tourner la tige.
The bolt is too short, but I bet I could really get a grip on the bolt with these.
Well, come on then, hurry up.
Ah, ça y est. La pince. Yes!
Hello?
Pas comme il a fait, mais il a réussi. On a réussi.
I barely left the window ajar.
Nothing to see.
Bah, elle a pas le chapeau. Oh là là, la calvitie.
Ah.
Are you okay?
Yes. Fine.
Alors.
Do you have any idea why the door was locked?
I don't know. Maybe the constant vibrations caused the lock to lock itself.
You can't possibly believe that.
Well, then what's your theory?
The conductor could have locked it from the outside. On the other hand, it could have been someone here in the compartment who locked the door from the inside.
Il n'y a pas de trou de l'intérieur.
And where have they gone?
They could have climbed out there.
Who would be that insane?
You tell me, Professor. So, what are you hiding in your bag? What do you have that would be worth stealing?
No, nothing.
No valuables?
Certainly not. Not on my salary.
It was enough for a first-class compartment on a luxury train.
That's my business.
You're playing a dangerous game, Professor Lucien.
Inspecteur.
I'd like to look around a bit.
Of course.
Ok, on va pouvoir tout examiner un peu.
Assuming there really was someone in the compartment, and he climbed out the window, where's he gone? Did the burglar leave any clues? Here's something. Might be fingerprints.
Ah, les empreintes digitales. On sait. Avec de la poudre de perlimpinpin. Ah ah. C'est magique.
What are you doing?
I'm trying to make what I suspect are fingerprints visible.
And? Found anything?
Unfortunately, no. There are only a couple of fingerprints on the window. It was probably cleaned before departure, but the prints I can see look like glove marks.
Well, wouldn't you expect that? What professional burglar wouldn't wear gloves?
Which makes me wonder what a professional burglar would hope to find in your compartment.
I don't have anything to say to that.
I thought as much. It was worth a try.
Ouais, au moins, on l'a fait.
I really wonder what the professor is hiding from me. But I can't just rifle through the luggage of innocent citizens. This is the 60s. Wow, you have a very nice fountain pen. Pricey.
If you'd managed to decode hieroglyphics that boggled the best minds of the last 3,000 years, you'd have received a gift like that as well.
The Bible, Grimm's fairy tales, Moby Dick, and gin, whiskey, and rum.
Que des
All
classiques.
classics.
The sky?
No, nothing interesting. Professor Lucien?
Yes?
Non, rien.
Godspeed, Professor Lucien.
Thanks.
The good professor is hiding something. It would be good if I could find out more about him.
Oui. Il faut savoir. Qu'est-ce que j'ai dans l'intérieur? Ah, j'ai encore de la poudre de perlimpinpin. Petite clé, mais. Ça sert plus à rien.
I think the violinist is hiding. But to be sure that Matt was right, I have... How can I do that without the violinist?
Comment faire sans l'accord du violoniste? Eh ouais. Il donne un verre.
All right, Matt. Tell me now. The violinist won't let me check his violin case.
Of course he won't. He's hiding something. Should I distract him? Then you can have a look in his case.
Ah, yes.
What do you suggest?
I could tell him there's a suitcase full of money in the next carriage. If he's a thief, he'll definitely want to take a look at it.
I don't think he'll fall for that.
Or I can insult him and then run away. He'll try to catch me, and you'll have a chance to look in that violin case.
Now that I think about it, this is something I have to attend to on my own. It would be expecting a bit much from a little boy.
Mais non!
Boy, you must be kidding.
C'est marrant.
Sorry, Sheriff, but your idea about distracting him is good all the same. So long.
So longer.
Mais non, il fallait le laisser, c'est pas grave, on s'en fout.
I've no idea what I'd say to Matt.
Wow. Peut-être lui donner un truc.
I've no idea what I'd say to Matt. I've no idea.
Je peux pas lui dire d'ouvrir. Ah, je peux lui parler lui.
Matt says the violinist put something in his violin case on the platform. Seems suspicious somehow. The question is, how credible is a statement from an imaginative boy? The Baroness seems to have, I better not bother her until I...
Ah oui, je sais, la fenêtre. Allez, je m'en souviens. Il m'a dit quelque chose que j'avais ouvert la fenêtre et tout ça, nanana, bidule chouette.
What are you doing? Didn't I make myself clear? The window stays closed.
You're not alone on this train. I want the window open.
Swiss politeness doesn't seem to be what it used to be.
Faut que j'arrive à la bloquer.
I'm not going to catch a cold because of you. Go somewhere else if you don't like it.
Ok, ok, ok. Il y a un truc à faire. Si je la coince avec le cure-dent. Ah, mettre le cure-dent dans la glissière. Voilà à quoi il sert le cure-dent.
The tip of the toothpick is stuck between the window and the runner.
Voilà. Voyons ce que ça se passe. Comment ça va se passer. Allez, le blondinet.
I'll complain to your superiors.
Quel. Il y a une arme.
That's not what you expect to find in a violin case. An
Le
old
portefeuille, il est là.
but probably still fully functional.
Hey, what are you doing there?
On l'a trouvé, le voleur.
I was taking your case for safekeeping since it was left here unattended. When I picked it up, the cover unlatched.
I never leave my violin unattended.
Ah, then no one else could have put this purse in your case.
Someone must have snuck it in. Like you.
For sure. And you have a pistol in the case because...
I don't owe you an explanation. It's mine. I have a gun license. Now, take the damned purse to the Baroness and leave me in peace.
Pris sur le fait.
Get lost.
It won't be that easy. I'll report the incident to the Italian authorities in Venice.
Dans tes dents.
Should I take a look inside? On the other hand, there might be important...
Ah. Ah, bah s'il me dit ça, c'est qu'il y a des choses importantes, donc sinon je l'aurais pas fait. Alors, on va examiner la lettre. Ok. On dirait que c'est le blond qui a fouillé.
Private. And here, a picture. A family in a garden. From the light clothing of the people in the picture and the strong shadows, I'd say the picture was taken on a sunny day.
Ok. Il y a... Retourner la photographie.
Tough to read. It's old-fashioned German. I learned it in school, but I'm a bit out of practice. I've been writing with the Latin-style script for 10 years now, like everyone else. Seems like it says, "For my dear little sister Meta, summer in Masuria, 1926." The Baroness must have been a young woman in 1926. She probably spent the summer holidays with her family there. Pleasant memories carried in a picture. But it's none of my business. I should give the Baroness her property back.
Ouais, le reste. Ouais, pourquoi je suis revenu jusqu'ici?
Oh, Inspector, did you find the Baroness's purse?
I did indeed.
You did? Out of my way, James.
Got to move, James.
Oh, wunderbar. Tremendous work, Inspector.
Constable, Baroness. Constable Anton Jakob Zellner, at your service.
Alors, le but du village.
May I ask you where this beautiful train is taking you?
To the madhouse, I'm afraid. One is close to the brink of insanity with this constant shaking and rattling.
Have you ever tried flying, Baroness?
Do you know how little luggage one is permitted upon an aeroplane? It defies all reason and good taste.
Cambriolage au musée.
Have you heard about the burglary at the British Museum?
Heard about it? I'm directly affected by it.
How so?
I'm in charge of the Friends of the British Museum. And for your information, I'm financing the exhibition.
Exhibition? What exhibition?
The exhibition in Cairo. Where did you think we were going? The eyes of the Sphinx were supposed to be exhibited together for the first time in decades. Now that one of them is gone, the exhibition will be rather less sensational than we'd hoped.
On the other hand, there's a chance that all the uproar will generate more attention, and that the exhibition will still be a great success.
Perhaps. But we wanted to show them both together. That was the whole point.
Can you tell me anything about your fellow passengers, Baroness?
No, not really. I could hardly care who's penned up in here with me. Oh, no. Wait a minute. Lucien is here, the professor. Poor fellow. The eye of the Sphinx that was stolen belonged to his collection.
Professor Lucien is an Egyptologist.
On dirait quand ils disent Lucien, on dirait qu'ils disent en
As
français.
director of the Egyptian department of the British Museum, he has to be. The whole burglary thing really upset him. Director Thomas told me he was a nervous wreck.
I'll take my leave of you now, Baroness, and I do hope your journey becomes more bearable.
Yes, indeed, Inspector.
Constable. James?
Ok. Ça, on a fait.
Professor Lucien.
On va voir si on a d'autres questions à lui poser, lui.
How can I help you, Constable Zellner?
Voilà.
I believe you and the inspector do know each other.
What makes you think that?
It seems like the two of you are running a haulage company specializing in safes.
I won't comment on that. It's a matter of international importance.
Tell me, Professor, would you happen to have a key in your briefcase? And if so, would it still happen to be there?
Then all would be as it should.
That's what we hope, at least. All the same, it would have been a simple matter for a thief to make an impression of it. Right, Professor?
Oh.
And the break-in? It wasn't an issue for you? Even though you're the head of the department where it occurred?
All right. The burglary was most upsetting. And shocking. And I didn't know what to do, okay?
And you couldn't just tell me that?
The fewer people who know about it, the better. I can't trust anyone.
Ok.
You're not only going to Venice, are you? Could it be that your journey will continue? All the way to Egypt, perhaps? I'm on your side, but the more you lie to me, the more difficult you make my job. I'd like to look around a bit.
Of course.
Ok, donc du coup... Examiner... Ah, le bouton. J'avais pas vu ça.
What's this?
Tiens.
What do you have there?
It's a button. From a suit or a uniform, I guess.
On a trouvé
The
un
burglar
bouton.
might have lost it.
Maybe. Or maybe not. If I notice anyone with a missing button on his jacket, I'll ask him about it. But I wouldn't get my hopes up. If there was a burglar, he climbed out the window and jumped off the train.
Ok, déjà je peux plus re-examiner tout ça là-bas. Et la fenêtre, oui, apparemment.
I can only make out faint traces. Whoever was in this compartment was wearing gloves.
Donc porter des gants et il manque un
Goodbye,
bouton.
Professor.
Goodbye.
Est-ce qu'il a toujours les gants aussi? Il peut les enlever. Mais un bouton de veste. Il a plus. Ah, le problème. Voilà.
I'll inform the authorities in Venice. They'll decide what to do with him.
Lui va être arrêté de toute façon. Bon, je voulais savoir s'il avait manqué un bouton de veste.
I don't think the Baroness has any more information for me. And she's not the most pleasant conversationalist either.
Ok, donc là je peux plus voir eux. C'est là que c'est la mamie, c'est la vieille. Ah, tiens.
Pardon me,
Oh,
sir.
mais voilà lui.
used you a few minutes ago.
C'est lui, c'est lui.
There are thousands of things I would like to ask her, but nothing would justify neglecting my duties here on the train.
Ah, en parlant de ça, lui il a des gants là-bas. Voilà, lui, il a des gants.
Hello, Dr. Gebhardt.
Fais voir.
Ah,
Tu manques un bouton.
Mr. Zellner.
I've been wondering why you're wearing gloves. Are your hands really so sensitive? Or are you cold?
Nah, well, it's an old habit. As a doctor, one is so conscious of all the pathogens, bacteria, and viruses that surround us. Though, of course, perhaps I do tend to be a bit too cautious.
I know exactly what you mean. As a policeman, I sense subterfuge and lies everywhere. Auf Wiedersehen, Dr. Gebhardt.
Goodbye, Constable. It was a pleasant chat, really.
En gros, j'étais en train de lui dire que t'es un mytho ou quoi. Et là, je lui ai dit ok. On va voir l'autre qui a couru là, c'est lui là. Il m'a bousculé. Tiens, qu'est-ce qu'il fait lui? Mais il est pas là.
The train
Lui, il a des gants
covers a
aussi.
distance of more than 3,000 kilometers and stops at a dozen places. In many cities, they entertain. The butler, this James, seems to have escaped the Baroness. Good day to you, sir.
Can I be of any assistance, sir?
I wanted to ask you a few questions.
Alors,
Where
retour
did
aux
you and the
questions.
Baroness board the train?
In Paris, sir. The Baroness was there on behalf of a charity that she supported for many years.
So you weren't in London when they broke into the British Museum?
We may have been, actually. We left for Dover bright and early the morning after the burglary. But it was in Paris when we first heard of it. The morning paper in London didn't mention the unfortunate event, sir.
And just 2 days later, you're on a train bound for Switzerland. The Baroness certainly gets around.
Indeed, sir. We're practically always on the go.
Ok.
What can you tell me about the Baroness?
Nothing, sir. A butler does not tattle.
If you'll pardon a rather odd question, are you really named James? That would be a lucky coincidence in your line of work.
My name, sir, is Clive Alfred Inch.
C'est
Your
Alfred.
second name is Alfred. Yet the
S'occupe de
Baroness
Batman.
calls you James.
Madam considers James to be the only forename suited to a butler, sir.
Ok.
Isn't butler an odd choice of career? Butler. Many would say it's a strange job.
It is true that I am one of a dying breed, sir. The war claimed a generation of butlers.
Have you been to war as well?
Indeed, sir. I was a groom for a cavalry officer.
When you British talk about war, one is never sure which war you mean. It seems the situation hasn't changed much since the 30 Years' War, has it?
Shrapnel from a bomb dropped by a Fokker would not have wounded me in the 30 Years' War, sir.
No, of course not. Goodbye, James. Or Alfred. I don't think he can tell me anything more of interest.
Ouais, mais.
The butler, this...
Pas savoir s'il manque un bouton ou pas, quoi.
Hey, Matt. The violinist really did steal the purse. Well observed.
I knew it! I bet he's got more stuff planned. I'll stay here and keep an eye on him secretly. Okay?
Sounds like a plan.
Ok, donc là c'est un. Là, je peux pas aller là. Là, je sais pas où il était là, il est plus là. T'étais où? T'es pas là? T'es où? T'es pas là? Il est venu, m'a bousculé, c'est barré.
Mrs. Miller?
Yes?
Thank you for your hairpin, Mrs. Miller. It really got me out of a jam.
Oh, really? That's good to hear. And thank you for bringing it back to me. Not everybody would have.
I'm a Swiss policeman, madam. I couldn't do otherwise even if I tried. Goodbye, Mrs. Miller.
Goodbye, Constable.
Il la regardait même pas dans les yeux. Bon, Bon, maintenant j'ai... Dans l'enquête qui a avancé, est-ce que je vais devoir parler avec eux? Je veux dire, c'est quelqu'un qui lui manque le bouton.
Inspector Legrand?
Anything to report?
I got Professor Lucien into his compartment using a pair of pliers.
Did you notice anything inside the compartment?
The window was open. Someone could have climbed out.
And the professor?
Acted suspiciously. He rummaged around in his leather bag.
And?
He seemed to have found what he was searching for.
Good. Good work.
Now, perhaps you could give me some information.
All right. We should... What? The light's gone out. Flashlights!
Le train s'est arrêté.
Ah, get off me.
Il y a quelqu'un dans le coffre?
There, sir. An envelope.
Corbeau.
My dear Nico, you should take a closer look at the box. R.
What the dickens?
Il est vide.
It's away with it.
Take cover!
Oh, mais c'est un tueur en plus, c'est pas qu'un voleur. Oh, on a fini le premier chapitre.
Oh dear. Oh.
Is everyone all right? Are you hurt? Quick thinking. Well done, Zellner.
L'image était bloquée. Survivant.
I think the tunnel collapsed.
Then he's trapped. Hurry, we have to lock the second exit.
Sir, there's a fire up ahead. The engine's burning.
It's a distraction. Hurry, block the exit.
But sir...
The fire will consume all the oxygen.
He's right, Inspector. A fire in a narrow tunnel is extremely dangerous.
Merde. Go to the front of the train, find the engineer, and tell him to move the train out of the tunnel.
Yes, sir.
Pourquoi j'ai l'impression qu'à coup des fois il parle français,
Are
il
you
dit
ready?
merde. En anglais c'est pas shit normalement.
You have to uncouple the freight car. You understand?
I understand.
I'll see to the passengers. They should all wait in the tunnel. We'll check each one in turn as they go out.
Let's get to it.
Ah ça je peux bouger.
A lot was damaged by the sudden stop, but the bowl was thick enough to survive the fall. The last of the candy has vanished. My God, what a fire. I hope Constable Oliver can at least reach the engine.
Ok. Bon, rien, il fait noir. Ah.
Oh, pardon me. I did not mean to scare you.
What are you doing here, Doctor?
Legrand asked me to check whether there are any passengers left on the train.
Really? No one is here, except for me and you.
Excellent. Then I will continue searching at the front.
Did anyone act suspiciously before the explosion? Did anyone leave their seat, for example?
I was the only one on the train who wasn't seated when the freight car exploded. Thank God. Otherwise, I would have been caught by the blast as well.
You certainly were lucky.
Perhaps I was. What happened over there? The inspector said something about gas canisters that exploded.
Des bonbonnes de gaz. Ouais, c'est ça, ouais. Je sais pas si tu dois dire la vérité, mais...
If Inspector Legrand says so, it must be so, right?
I have been to war, and this was no minor explosion. I rather doubt that the freight car was packed to the roof with gas canisters.
The investigations are ongoing, but first we have to get the burning train out of the tunnel.
Of course.
How are the passengers?
They are in a state of shock, of course. The blackout and the sudden stop were frightening enough, but then the explosion, the dust. Everyone rushed for the exits. I was helping the American woman bring Lady Westmacott to safety. They are waiting outside in the tunnel. One entrance is blocked by a fire, and the other one seems to have collapsed.
Continue to search the train. I'll decouple the buried freight car.
All right.
Doctor?
Doctor.
Can you give me a few matches?
Oh, certainly.
Thanks. I'll meet you outside.
Do hurry.
Faut récupérer un chiffon.
I don't see Legrand or the constable, but I can make out the silhouettes of some of the passengers. They seem to be unscathed. All the same, the fire is getting bigger, and I don't have much time.
Ok. Ah, j'ai tout perdu quoi, il me reste que le chiffon et l'allumette, ouais, il me faut un morceau de bois ou quoi.
I should concentrate on uncoupling the freight car. I'm positive that Legrand has everything else under control.
De quoi?
I should concentrate on uncoupling the freight car. I'm positive that Legrand has everything else under control.
La voiture de marchandises.
The chair either fell over thanks to the sudden stop, or an escaping passenger knocked it over. Wanting to get off the train as quickly as possible after a sudden stop and a massive tremor, that's understandable. I noticed the extinguisher earlier. Doesn't match the decor. I suppose that the railway company had to comply with safety regulations at the cost of aesthetics.
Utiliser l'extincteur?
It'd be useless against the fire out there, and it's too cumbersome to carry around. At best, I can use it here.
On va casser un pied. C'est péché avec l'extincteur. Du coup, on va pouvoir se faire une petite
Alright, let's go.
entorche. Utiliser le pied de chaise avec le chiffon. Normalement, on met de l'alcool.
Carling Black Label, a British beer.
Ah voilà.
No good. Insufficient alcohol content.
Le Sky,
for practical purposes, I mean, not for drinking.
Le whisky, le whisky. Le whisky, ça aide le whisky.
Whiskey, scotch, rum, liqueurs, enough to entertain everyone on the train all the way from Paris to Istanbul.
Le rhum ou le Sky.
High proof rum.
Ouais, le rhum.
Could be useful.
Le rhum, c'est fort.
Rum from Austria. Believe it or not, it's 80% alcohol by volume. There's no way anyone would drink it straight.
Déglingue.
That should do it.
Voilà.
The material won't be able to soak up any more alcohol.
Ouais, je veux bien. Mais pourquoi l'allumette Non, pas le bol de bonbon. Torche un bibé de rhum. Ah, voilà. C'est parti.
The material won't be able to soak up any more alcohol.
Non, mais... Pourquoi il veut pas mettre l'allumette là, je comprends pas. Utiliser le rhum fort, ouais. Torche un biberon, moi je clique dessus, mais.
The material won't be able to soak up any more alcohol.
Qu'est-ce qu'il me fait?
The curtain is wrapped around the wood and doused in alcohol. I should...
Oui, quand tu veux, mais prends-la, prends-la cette putain de torche là. Qu'est-ce qu'il me veut? Prends-la, voilà. Oh, le truc de fou qu'il faut faire quoi. Pour aller dans l'objet. Une fois que la l'allumette est allumée, il faut retourner dans l'objet et après.
The alcohol burns with a dim blue flame. It doesn't shed enough light and will probably burn out in a few seconds. Won't solve my lack of light. I'll have to try something else.
What? Il fait quoi?
I filled the bowl about a third of the way with rum. Phew, strong stuff. Just as I expected, the alcohol burns with an almost invisible flame. The flame is hot, but it's no use as a light source. The flame is certainly bigger and hotter than a match, but even so, the curtain would probably just smolder. It's taking too long. Time is running out.
On va refaire ça.
That should do it. The alcohol on the curtain burns just as darkly as in the bowl. It's no help.
Qu'est-ce qu'il faudrait utiliser en plus?
It's taking too long. Time is running out.
On va voir comme ça.
That should do it. Can't really say the fabric was eager to soak up the rum. I, on the other hand, soaked up enough in my fingers to smell like a drunk. It's taking too long. Time is running out.
Ok, normalement ça devrait être bon, je crois.
The material won't be able to soak up any more alcohol.
Okay.
The alcohol on the curtain burns just as darkly as in the bowl. It's no help.
Je vois pas le... Est-ce qu'il y a un truc que je dois trouver, chercher ou quoi?
Champagne, the finest. Maybe we'll open a bottle if we get out of the tunnel alive. Until then, though, it's no use to me. The flame is hot, but it's no use.
Il y a un truc à faire, mais je sais pas quoi.
The alcohol burns with a dim blue flame. It doesn't shed enough light and will probably burn out in a few seconds. Won't solve my lack of light. I'll have to try something else.
Oh, bomba là, marron. Utiliser le rhum fort.
The flame is hot. The alcohol on the curtains will burn just as dimly as in the box.
Ça sert à rien, lui.
That'll get me something like a Molotov cocktail. I want light, but I don't want it to come from a wall of flames.
Ah, attends, on fait tout péter, hein, je comprends rien là. Il y a bien une tissu autour de la pied, ouais, j'aime bien, j'ai un bibi d'alcool. Je vois pas ce que je peux faire de plus.
I bought it last week, second hand. It was...
C'est le pire. Touche un bibi de rhum, ouais. Verser de l'alcool, il veut pas.
The material... I bought it last week. It was... The flame...
C'est bizarre quand même.
The wheels came off the track during the explosion. Even if it were possible to pull the car out of the rubble, you wouldn't get far with it. I'm sure I could uncouple the car if I only had enough light to see what I'm doing. There's a noticeable draft here. Maybe it's because of the fire, or perhaps there's still a hole through which the air is coming. The latter will be quite welcome. It will buy us some more time.
Ok. Faut absolument cette lumière, mais... Le problème, la torche, tu vois, je peux pas la récupérer. Je me dire, je vais l'allumer dehors avec le vent, peut-être ça fera quelque chose. J'ai tout. Je suis pyromane. Pyromane qui n'arrive pas à allumer une torche. Avec ça pour s'il n'a pas trouvé d'autres trucs. Pas regarder dehors. Mais il veut l'éteindre pour regarder dehors. Lui.
The fire here.
T'as mon allumette. Clairement l'allumette quoi.
The material won't be able to...
Un truc qui va pas. Quelque chose à par terre, hein.
The alcohol burn. won't solve my lack of light. I'll have to try something else.
Je vois pas. Je vois pas du tout.
I'll never set fire to the trailer using matches. I need a better plan. It's taking too long. Even if I could set the fabric alight, how would I care?
J'ai pas d'autre choix de l'enrouler en fait. Le tissu il est rempli d'alcool. Je vois pas si vous avez des idées là, je sais, je comprends pas pourquoi. J'ai allumé le bol, donc c'est bien pour quelque chose de bol. Là je peux plus l'utiliser ailleurs. La torche imbibée de rhum, je la prends, je la mets... À moins que... Je peux qu'allumer la torche, enflammer le rhum.
I expect the rum will burn like ethanol, but I better not test that theory in the bottle. The flame is hot, but it's no use as a light source. I shouldn't be wasteful. One burning match. The alcohol on the curtain burns just as darkly as in the bowl. It's no help.
C'est vraiment débile là. Je comprends pas. Le truc qui va pas là. Là, le pied de chaise, je peux pas le garder sur moi en fait. Je suis obligé de l'utiliser.
I broke the leg off a beautiful chair, and knowing the Swiss Federal Railways, they'll bill me for it.
Ça a bugué le jeu.
Rum from Austria. I expect the rum. I'll never set fire to the chair.
C'est la guerre, il manque quelque chose ou quoi en plus, je veux bien, mais je vais tout regarder. Les alcools. Il y avait le Magnum et d'un coup je ne sais plus voir le Magnum. Et il reste bloqué sur le rhum et... On va aller là-bas pour voir.
There's a pretty intense draft here. The fire is sucking up the oxygen.
Il y a que descendre du train et... Je trouve ça bizarre là, c'est chelou. Hein. Je m'en fous pour des trucs.
The flame is hot, but it's no use. The flame is hot. The flame. I broke. It's taking too long. Time is running out.
Mais ouais, mais je peux pas mettre de l'alcool sur le pied. Je peux plus rien faire moi avec ce chiffon là.
The alcohol on. I want light, but I don't want.
Si j'arrive à mettre le pied de chaise dans la bouteille, je peux pas mettre dans la bouteille. Je peux ni mettre le pied direct dans le bol.
The alcohol on the curtains would burn just as dimly as in the bowl. It's no good. Rum from Austria. The material won't be able to. The flame is.
C'est bizarre.
The material won't be able to.
Ça allumette, il veut pas, et quand c'est trempé là-dedans, il veut pas.
The curtain is wrapped around the wood and doused in alcohol. I should be able to light the torch whenever I want.
Il dit que je peux allumer la torche quand je veux. Bah, je veux bien l'allumer, mais. Il est con, quoi.
The alcohol burns with a dim blue flame. It doesn't shed enough light and will probably burn out in a few seconds.
Aye.
Won't solve my lack of light. I'll have to try something else.
Sortir, hein. Sûrement quelque chose ici.
I'm sure I can uncouple the car if I only had enough light to see what I'm doing. I can feel cold metal and a screw thread and a lot of grease, but I can't do more without light.
Graisse. Ah. Oui, oui, avec la graisse, peut-être.
Okay, I'll smear some grease on the curtain.
Ah bah voilà. J'avais pas bien vu qu'il y a écrit la graisse. Et bon, avec ça, ça va tenir. Ah là là.
The material won't. hot, but they also require a hot flame to combust. A normal match won't do the trick.
Ah. Comme ça alors.
I'm the god of fire.
Eh ben. Ouais, c'était galère. Hein. Quoi, faut imaginer que la Grèce quand même.
That's better now.
Oula. Examiner l'étage.
Incredibly basic mechanism. The kind that lasts forever. A lever on a pressure sleeve running along a thread.
Tourner le levier, TT.
Aha! I can uncouple it with this lever. Okay. There we go. Time to get out of here.
C'est quoi le truc qui est en haut à droite? On a réussi!
Listen, everybody! Listen! Robert, what's the situation?
Yeah, I couldn't find the engineer, so I got in the driver's cab myself and released the brake.
Y'a personne dedans.
Good job, you two. Listen, please.
Matty! Where's Matt? Where's my son?
Relax, madame. I'm sure.
Help!
Comme par hasard, qu'est-ce qu'il fout dedans lui?
Matty! No!
Voilà! À mon âge, faire tout ça! Voilà, je peux plus moi! Je suis trop vieux! Allez! Rentre tes fesses! Je vais mourir! Ah, je suis tombé dans les pommes? Je suis tombé dans les pommes? À la base, je suis venu le sauver le petit, hein. Pas pour mourir avec lui, hein.
Matt, where are you?
Oh.
Oh.
Mais on dirait le même train, mais il est tout propre.
Matt, are you there? Nothing.
Ah, maintenant, il est pas propre là.
Damn, that makes things extremely complicated. The emergency brake either was damaged in the explosion or was sabotaged, but whatever, it's not working. I think I should try to uncouple the locomotive. I mean, how else can I stop the train?
Il est là. Matt, je vis tes pieds.
Hey, there you are. What were you thinking? Bah, come out of there.
Is he gone?
Is who gone?
The man.
What man?
There was a man. He was coughing.
One of the passengers?
I think he came down from the roof.
What are you doing on the train anyway? Why didn't you wait in the tunnel with the other passengers?
I wanted to get my pistol.
Your pistol?
There's so many cops and thieves and explosions and everything. Then I need a pistol too.
Makes sense. All right. First, I'll stop the train, and then we'll have a chat, okay? You want to come out? Good idea. You stay put. I suppose this handbag belongs to Miss Miller, Matt's mother. Lady Westmacott's bag is probably smaller and more expensive. Aha! Matt saw something. It could prove to be very useful, but if I don't stop the train soon, I won't be able to use that information in this lifetime.
C'est sûr, ça me servira à rien. 15 heures quand même, ouais.
I can't get in. I presume the Baroness's luggage toppled over and is blocking the door.
Genre j'ai le temps de me regarder quoi.
A large soft towel, very comfortable. I'll wrap it around my neck to keep my hands free. The tanks don't seem to be damaged. The water is still running.
Okay.
What have you got yourself into? Couldn't you have just let it be? But no, of course not. And now you're here, on an out-of-control train in the Alps, responsible for the life of a child who'll be doomed without you. What are you waiting for, eh? Time to save the day. The situation isn't that desperate. Professor Lucien's suitcase. Unlike the leather bag, he left it behind when he fled the train with the other passengers. I don't think there's anything interesting in it. Whatever the professor is hiding from me, it's in his leather bag.
Ok, il n'y a plus rien ici. Tout ça pour rien, à part j'ai pris une serviette. Elle était toute blanche, elle se retrouve toute noire.
You can hardly see out of the window because of the smoke. I don't know how much coal is burning on the tender up there, but it must be tons. I can't do anything about the fire.
On peut enfin aller là devant?
If the emergency brake doesn't work, I'll have to try something else. Here goes. Ouch! Hot!
La serviette, la serviette!
Locked.
Verrouillé. Quelque chose, une clé. La hache! On va prendre la hache!
An axe is for emergencies. If this isn't an emergency, I don't know what is.
On va faire Shining. Allez! On va te déglinguer!
Okay, we'll do it the hard way.
Qu'est-ce qu'il a fait? T'es sérieux mon pote?
If I go outside with a towel around my head, it'll catch fire due to all the sparks flying around. I don't want to risk what little hair I have left. The handle is already...
Ouais, du
A
coup,
large, soft towel. Very comfortable.
doit-on faire quoi alors? Faut se mouiller? Ou faut mouiller la serviette? Ça, il faut la mouiller la serviette, je pense. Je la mets sur le visage. Voilà, c'est ça. Ah, elle est toute noire.
It's soaking up the cold water.
Voilà, normalement c'est bon. Utilisez l'âge.
That should do the trick. The coupling won't release because it's under too much tension.
Tu lèves, normalement ça devrait être bon. Voilà, de fou. On a sauvé tout le monde.
That's not just smoke. I can actually taste lumps of ash. It's time for my deputy sheriff's story. I uncoupled the locomotive at full speed. Not bad, eh?
Do you think we'll get in trouble?
Because of the locomotive? I don't think so. It was pretty old already. Come out so we can have a chat. I checked the entire train. There's no one on it except for us. What an adventure.
Oh, yeah.
Tell me, what did you see on the train?
Well, it was like this.
Et le train va s'arrêter tout
I
seul là,
wanted
si
to
j'ai
get
bien
my
compris.
pistol.
Ah, il va raconter ce qu'il a vu. Ben oui, c'était forcément lui. On l'avait plus vu le mec. Alors comment il se démarche?
That's you.
C'est une lettre esprit.
And then?
When the guy was gone, I got up and banged on the window. I wanted to get out of there, but then I thought, what if the guy can hear me from the next car? So I got scared, and I hid again.
You did well.
L'enveloppe.
The envelope that the man lost. Where is it?
I
Je
thought
sais
it
pas,
might be
j'hésite entre un
important.
homme et une femme vu la démarche comme elle a fait.
I think we should have a look. Some cash. An Italian passport. Blank. Very interesting. And here, a ticket for
the cruise.
what?
The tickets we have for the big ship from Venice to Cairo look exactly the same.
Interesting. May I keep it?
What do you want to do with it?
Take a vacation.
Il va venir avec nous.
It's evidence.
And my chance to go with you.
The ticket and everything else in the envelope are part of my investigation. And you have no part to play in Cairo.
If I hadn't given you the envelope, you'd have no proof that the Raven's heir would be on the ship.
Ugh. The ship is his next chance to steal the eye. And he won't give up until he has it.
And that's precisely why you should let me come along.
No.
What else did you find out in the tunnel?
Not much. After we came out of the tunnel, Robert and I questioned the passengers.
Which didn't turn up anything new.
No. The engineer and the fireman were missing. They were found a few kilometers back on the track. Both claimed to have been overwhelmed by a shadow and thrown off the train.
But you don't believe that.
I'm checking their stories. One of them may have been paid to eliminate the other one.
How could the Raven's heir have found out about the trap? How was he able to put the dynamite in the box and place the letter?
The dynamite was probably already in the box when I put it in the safe. I didn't check it.
You had no reason to do so.
It wasn't my only mistake. I knew someone was on the roof of the freight car, but I let myself be distracted by that damned letter.
How did you know?
Too late. I should have reacted instantly.
And what about the ship? I have earned the right to join you.
What you did was extraordinary. Far more than anyone could have a right to expect from you.
And you still want to leave me behind?
You met our foe and barely escaped with your life. You may not be that lucky next time.
It wasn't luck.
You can return to Switzerland with your head held high. Enjoy your triumph.
I have not achieved anything yet. The fiend tried to kill us, and he's still at large.
Il y a un blanc là, d'un coup.
We're here.
Ah. Sommes arrivés. On va retrouver les autres.
Inspector Legrand, an urgent telegram from Paris.
Bad news?
It's about the unfortunate events on the train. I'm to return to Paris and explain myself.
But sir, what about the eye?
They want to inform the Egyptian authorities that there might be a burglary attempt.
Might?
Egyptian authorities? What if the jewel is stolen at sea?
I know. I never received it.
La pollution, non mais oh.
On the loading of the eye, Robert.
Aye, sir. It was a pleasure meeting you, Constable Zellner.
What is the constable's problem with me?
I think he's jealous. Scotland Yard assigned him to assist me, just as you were sent by the Swiss authorities.
With the distinction that he may go to Egypt.
Robert is to accompany me at all times. Your mission was restricted to Switzerland.
At this moment, I want to be sent back to Switzerland just as much as you want to be sent back to Paris.
I know, but I'm walking on thin ice, and I can't carry you too.
And the second eye is in that safe?
Yes, an emerald. It's been kept in a bank in Zurich since the start of the war. I personally took it out of the bank vault, and Professor Lucien certified that it was the real thing.
And while a fake jewel was sent by train,
the real one was brought here in an armored car.
How is it protected?
You can only open the safe if you have 3 special keys. Professor Lucien has one, and Baroness von Trebitz, who's paying for all this, has the second. The third was sent by air courier to Dr. Abbas Mokhtar, the director of the Egyptian Museum in Cairo.
So, not even you could possibly open the safe before it arrives in Egypt.
That's correct. We don't want to make it too easy for potential thieves.
Commendable. I hope you're aware of the fact that you're risking your career.
Indeed I am.
Why do you care so much about this case? Someone pretends to be the Raven, and you promptly risk your career?
What if he's not just pretending?
What do you mean by that?
It's his handwriting. And there's only one person who ever called me Nico. Have you ever considered the possibility that I shot the wrong man?
But what do you mean by that?
Let us assume just for a moment that the person I shot and who fell from the roof was not the Raven. Who would have cared enough to uncover the truth? The chief of police, the politicians? No. They wanted to revel in a successful manhunt, and it was the best thing that could have happened to the Raven. The search for him was over. He had no reason to fear me anymore. I had so many medals afterwards that he could hear them jingling kilometers away.
And now he's back? And you're the only one who can stop him? Does that sound probable to you?
The feathers, the letters. Nico. No one outside the police force knew that the Raven used to call me that in his letters.
Policemen gossip, and there are plenty of forgers. You can't seriously intend to stake your reputation on such weak evidence.
My reputation rests on something that I probably did not do. I have to find out who's behind all this.
Let's review. One of the 2 most valuable jewels in the world was stolen. Obviously, the second one will be next. And you suspect a legendary burglar who's been dead for 5 years.
Go on.
The second jewel is about to be put on board over there, in a safe that requires 3 keys. Our thief may already have the first key, the archaeologist's key, from the train. We don't know anything about the status of the second key, which was meant to be air freighted to Cairo.
We have to assume that he already has it.
Therefore, there's just one key left. The Baroness's.
Correct.
So, you'll need my eyes on board.
Look, you can keep your eyes open for me here on the wharf. I'd be most grateful. But when this ship sets sail, you will not, I repeat, not be on board.
But, Inspector...
We're dealing with a dangerous man, and I will pursue him regardless of the consequences. I won't let you get mixed up in this affair.
It's still my decision.
No, it's not. It's mine, and I've already made it. Good day, Constable Zellner.
Ah, je peux bouger. Ah bah écoutez, on va s'arrêter là. Sauvegarder la partie. On peut sauvegarder là? À Venise. Ok. Bon écoutez, franchement le jeu il est plutôt pas mal, mine de rien. J'ai bien aimé. Au début c'est un peu... Voilà, c'est du temps que tu rentres dedans, les conversations, ça parle beaucoup, tout ça, essayer d'enregistrer un petit peu toute la situation de l'histoire. Plein de détails, tout ça. Une fois que tu es dedans, franchement c'est plutôt pas mal. J'ai bien aimé ce petit jeu. Hein. C'est un petit jeu voilà, qui était sur le PlayStation. Hein. Donc il est gratuit pour l'instant. Hein. Mais voilà, voilà. The Raven Remastered, plutôt pas mal. Écoutez, j'espère que ça vous a plu. Et on se dit à demain pour continuer la suite de Final Fantasy. Donc voilà, tous les lundis, ça sera une découverte des petits jeux que j'ai, qu'on découvre ensemble. Donc voilà, on va instaurer ça. Quoi. Je vous souhaite une très très bonne soirée. Ciao, ciao. À demain.